Welcome to Quality Branding Hub. The channel is for the quality control engineer, site engineer and the civil engineer who are working in the construction field. In this channel, we are dealing with anything and everything which is required to get success in the construction. The success is not about the project as well as the people who are working on that project. That means quality control engineer, site engineer and the civil engineer. So it's all about the project as well as the career success of the people of the civil engineer. So it's all about the quality control engineer, civil engineer and the site engineer. So what is today's topics? Today's topics is about a waterproofing material, and that is a SBS membrane. Now it is the waterproofing is huge impact on the structure. If the structure is not waterproof, it can damage the structure. So one type of waterproofing is SBS membrane waterproofing. So today's topics is SBS membrane. What is SBS membrane? What is the chemical and physical properties, where it can be used. So stay tuned until then to get the full information. And if you are new in my channel, kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get immediate notification. So let's jump into the subject. It's all about the SBS membrane. Now, what is SBS membrane? Styrene-Butadiene-Styrene, that is in short SBS, is a hard rubber. Hard rubber means thermoplastic elastomer. I will come later on that topics. Used as a chemical modifier to make bitumen elastic. It's a block copolymer, meaning it is made of long chain of two different monomers that give a mix of plastic like durability and rubber like flexibility, because you need both the durability and the flexibility. Otherwise, whenever there is a stress will generate, where is the differential stress will generate, it will break. So that is why you need both the durability and the flexibility, and that why in this SBS membrane there are two different monomers. And what is the chemical composition? It consists of three segments. Styrene, a hard glossy plastic that provides strength and durability, and the second is butadiene, a rubbery substance that provides elasticity and the flexibility. And another is styrene, there is another hard block to anchor the chain. So these three layers, the styrene, butadiene, again the styrene, this is the SBS system. Now what is the chemical formula? The SBS is a complex formula. It has styrene, it has butadiene, and it's a complex polymer made of a repeating unit. It does not have a single fixed molecular weight, but its general chemical formula can be expressed with the styrene unit, which is C8H8, provides the rigid end blocks, and butadiene unit, that is a C4H6, provides the flexible mid block. Now what is how it behaves in waterproofings? When mixed with bitumen, that is asphalt, the styrene blocks cluster together from a physical cross-link network. This allows the membrane to stretch when the building moves or the temperature drops, and recover its original shape once the stress removed. That is the elastic recovery. Otherwise, if that is not elastic, what will happen? It will not come to the original position, and there will be stress generated and it will break eventually, and there will be a water leakage. And resist cracking in extreme cold, as the rubber prevents the bitumen for becoming brittle. Otherwise, if it is brittle, our waterproofing will damage. Now another terms we already discussed, that is a hard rubber, that is thermoplastic elastomer. Now what is this thermoplastic elastomer? This hard rubber is the context of thermoplastic elastomer, like SBS, is a bit of hybrid, while traditional rubber like a keratin or the thermoset and cannot be remelted. A tape is material that is likely stretchy rubber at room temperature but can be melted and processed like a hard plastic. All we know that this SBS membrane, whenever we are applying, it is a torch applied mainly. So whenever we are applying torch, it's melt and again it is come to the original shape. That is why it's a thermoplastic elastomer property also. It's important, otherwise we cannot install at the site. So in the waterproofing industry, SBS is often referred to as a hard rubber or elastomer because of this molecular architecture. hard domains, that is styrene, and the soft domains is the butadiene, that already I discussed. And what is the key characteristics? That is the elastic recovery. Unlike standard plastic, which stresses it, pull it out, is a permanent deformation is happening, and this elastomer polymer thermoplastics SBS has the elastic recovery properties, so that our waterproofing will not damage. Now, what is the IS code for the SBS membrane? Now, what is the IS code for SBS membrane as the material? Because whenever we are in India, we need to follow the IS code, because for all the material we have the IS code. Now, this IS code for the SBS membrane is 16525/2017 and reaffirmed in 2022. And what is the IS code saying? The Styrene-Butadiene-Styrene modified bituminous waterproofing and dam proofing membrane with polyester reinforcement specification. So, I will come later one by one. And for the installation is the code is 13461991 reaffirmed in 2022, code of practice for waterproofing of roofs with bitumen fails. But today I will discuss only about the material. So, one by one I will discuss about this IS code, which is 16525/2017 and reaffirmed in 2022. In the IS code, it is saying bitumen felt has been used for waterproofing, for dam proofing more than 65 years, and still it is being used. Field experience shows that with the passage of time, cold flexibility of oxidized bitumen felt decreases, it cracks, leading to leakage. Therefore, this SBS modified bitumen felt was introduced. Now, styrene-butadiene system, it modified membranes with polyester reinforcement, that is we are introducing the reinforcement also. Different thickness were introduced in our country first time in the year 1990. The special features of the good quality SBS membranes are impermeability, resistance to aging and weathering, bonding with the base, high temperature stability, resistance to impact and puncture, and cold flexibility. And in the formation of the standard, due weightages has been given in this international in this standard. So, I will come one by one. This scope of the standard, first we need to know what is the material we are using. Now, see what is it saying? These standards covers the requirement of prefabricated modified bitumen sheets material, reinforcement with polyester fabric as the reinforcement which use the styrene-butadiene system. So, what is the material we need? Material first is the center core. Center core is the polystyrene reinforcement membrane. It is in the clause 4.1.1. The reinforcement for polystyrene based membrane shall be given in the table 1. So, what is the criteria for the polystyrene unit, the mat? So, in the table you can see the requirement of non-woven polystyrene mat, that is requirement of membrane below 3 mm, requirement of membrane above 3 mm. So, there are two categories divided, 3 mm and above 3 mm. So, what will the weight is gram per meter square, 100 plus 10 plus minus 10%, and above 3 mm 160 plus minus 15%. Now, what is the tensile strength categories? That is the Newton per 5 cm. This is in the longitudinal direction 300 plus minus 10. Here it is 550 plus minus 10. In the transverse direction 200 plus minus 10 and 300 plus minus 10%. And the elongation for the reinforcement mat, that is longitudinal direction 25 plus minus 10%, and here it is 30 plus 10 plus minus 10%, and the transverse direction 25 plus minus 10% and 30 plus 10 plus minus 10%. So, this is a requirement of non-woven polystyrene mat. The next is SBS polymer. The styrene-butadiene polymer impart plasticizing quality of bitumen. And next is the bitumen, because it is a polymer. What is SBS polymer? That is derived from the bitumen. Now, straight grade bitumen conforming to IS 73 is to be used as the and polymerized with adequate quantity of polymer to achieve the complete phases of inversion. So, bitumen should be straight grade and conforming to IS only 73. Now, what is the mineral filler? We are adding also mineral filler. It shall consist of finely divided suitable inert material matter which passes through 75 micron IS sieve that is IS 456 part 460 part 1. The proportion of mineral inert material will depend upon the type of the weight of the membrane manufactured, but shall not exceed 50% of the weight of the coating material. So, this IS code has given the guidelines. Now, the next part is the finishing material. In the finishing material, there are category. It is divided in the IS code. This is SBS membrane, polyester, plain finish. So, what is the finish to it? The both side with 10 to 15 micron thick thermo fusible material as per IS code. This is the first product is SBS membrane polyester plain finish. Now, this is the both side is the plain finish. Now, both side, what is the requirement? Both side with 10 to 15 micron thick thermo fusible polythene. So, it should be covered with the polythene in the both side. The next category is the finishing material SBS membrane polystyrene with mineral finish. We are using in the different area where plain finish is required, the mineral finish is required. Now, lower side, that means in the where it will be pasted with the base, will be finished with 10 to 15 micron thermofusible polythene in the same, and the upper face finished with the mineral granule. And so, what is the mineral finish? The one side is the polythene, that is in the where is the base, and other side is the mineral granule, that is in the upper side. Third category of product, this is SBS membrane with polystyrene aluminum finish. Now, lower side finished with 10 to 15 mm micro thermofusible polythene, that is same for all, but the upper side finished with embossed and microcellulose coated aluminum foil of thickness 40 micron. So, depending on the finish material, there are three categories: plain, mineral finish, and the aluminum finish. And for the three cases, the bottom portion is absolutely okay with the polythene, and for the plain, that is upper side is the polythene. For the mineral, upper side is mineral, and the aluminum, upper side is the aluminum finish. Now, what is the this is the material, the raw material we are using to make the SBS membrane or the Styrene-Butadiene-Styrene membrane. Now, what is the requirement of SBS membrane as a whole? Because whenever we are selecting our waterproofing material, we need to check what is our requirement and what is the physical requirement for the SBS membrane. So, where we can get then? Now, here is we can go to the table. Here it is table 4. The table 4 is given the requirement of the SBS membrane. So, what will be the requirement as a quality control engineer when you have to select the material? Then what is the parameter you need to satisfy? What is the parameter you need to check? And when the material is coming to the site or before coming to the site during the material approval stage, what is the parameter you need to check as a quality control engineer? That has given in the table 4 in the requirement of SBS membrane. See, here it is given. You can see the requirement for plain membrane, requirement for mineral membrane, requirement for aluminum membrane. So, three type of finish we have already discussed: this plain finish, mineral finish, and the aluminum finish. Now, here is the first category you need to check: thickness of the membrane. Now, what is the thickness? That is a below 3 mm and 3 mm and above. See what is saying? This is saying requirement of plain membrane. This is the plus minus 5% or maximum plus minus 0.15 mm. That means whenever we are getting the material, you need to check the thickness. If it is within this tolerance limit, we can select, or we can say this material can be used, otherwise it will be rejected. For the mineral membrane, plus minus 5% and same plus 0.5 mm. And the same here in the aluminum finishes, plus minus 5 is same. And if it is 3 and above, see here it is also plus minus 5, but here is the maximum is 0.2 mm. Here it is saying for the below 3 mm 0.15 mm, but above 3 mm it is 0.2 mm. It is the same for all. Now, next is the cold flexibility, which is very important because during the cold it should not break. So, what is the cold flexibility? That is does not crack at the rate of minus 15 degrees centigrade, and at the other also the same. So, minus 50 degrees centigrade, it should not crack. That category you have to check, because according to your project location and according to your project requirement, that cold flexibility you need to check. The third category is softening point. That's all thickness the same, greater than 120 degrees centigrade. So it should not melt or it should not soften above the 120 degrees centigrade. Then it's coming to the tensile strength. Now tensile is the two direction, the longitudinal direction and the transverse direction, and it is always discussed in the below 3 mm and the above 3 mm. Here you can say this 300 Newton per millimeter square plus minus 20%, and 200 for plus minus 20% in the transverse direction. For the aluminium, for the mineral 300 same, and for the aluminium 300 same, and 300 above the longitudinal direction you can see 650 plus minus 20%, and the transverse direction 400 plus minus 20%. Here it is 650, same for all. Now the elongation, it is also a very important property, that is also in the longitudinal direction and this as well as the transverse direction, and below 3 mm and above 3 mm. It is saying in the below 3 mm 45 plus minus 25%, and for the transverse direction 40 plus minus 20%. But the mineral grain 30 plus minus 20%, 25 plus minus 20%, and for the aluminum finish 15 plus minus 10% and 15 plus minus 10%. And if it is 300 and above, this 40 plus minus 15%, 35 plus minus 15%, 30 plus minus and 25, and in the aluminum finish 20 plus minus 10 and 20 plus minus 10. Now the tear strength, again it is the longitudinal direction and the transverse direction, and all has to, you have to check, because this need very much important for the waterproofing. So every category what is in the mention you need to check. And the tear strength, here it is below 3 mm not applicable, and 3 mm and above 500 is minimum, and in transverse direction 300 is minimum, and other two categories also the same. Now heat resistance, and for the all thickness no flow, that means heat should not flow and in if any condition heat should not flow. And the penetration in at the rate of 25 degrees centigrade, this all thickness is the 20 plus minus 5, 20 plus minus 5 and 20 plus minus 5. Now another category, that is the water absorption for the all thickness, because we are using this SBS membrane as a waterproofing membrane. Now if it is water absorbed, what will happen? Our purpose will not solve. So what is the water absorption? That is 0.2 max, and for the mineral grade not applicable, and for the aluminium grade 0.2. And then dimensional stability and the or longitudinal and the transverse plus minus 0.5 or plus minus 0.5 for the both longitudinal transverse, and other two categories also same. And the puncture resistant, what is that, shall show no sign of puncture. So when we test that one, it should not show any puncture for the all. So these are all the requirement of the SBM membrane as per the IS code. So whenever you are selecting your material or as per your requirement, you need to check whether it is applicable for your project or not. And I hope you find it useful, and if you find it useful, kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon, so that whenever I upload a new video you will get immediate notification. And I am waiting for your valuable comment, so that from your valuable comment everybody will be benefited. And if you want to know anything more about quality control and construction, please let me know. I will come with more content like this. And thank you once again for watching me.